just a little bit different in the anatomy that they possess as well. But generally, and not always, there are 4 legs to the chair, all right? So when we're seated in a chair, we've got a lot of balance. We have a lot of stability. We have the 4 legs of the chair. We have our feet that we can put on the ground. We could even use our hands right on that chair. So lots and lots of stability, lots and lots of ways to help our bodies stay really strong and really centered. So, but we are going to take ourselves up and down from the chair today. I thought it might be good to, as we have before, seeing a little bit of what we do seated, that's called chair yoga, what we can do standing, that's called a standing yoga practice, okay? And so go ahead and line up those feet. I'm looking down at mine. I'm trying to get them so that they are parallel to one another. I'm looking at my ankles to see if they are right underneath my knees. So that might mean my knees are not splayed out yet. We will do that later. They're not turned in, internally rotated. We'll do some of that later. They are straight and coming right back into my hips, right? My back is not leaning up against the back of the chair. And those are different. For instance, Mark is in one of our more formal big back chairs. Mine's one of the shorter ones. So again, we have differences there too. So go ahead and just lightly close your eyes as you send your energy down through whatever is connecting to something else. So feet to the floor, your hips, your glutes to your chair, your hands placed wherever you've decided to put them. So let those places of our body be connected, and let the rest of our body be uplifted. And your breath can help you to do both of that. Your exhale helps you to feel the groundedness. Your big long inhale helps you to feel the lightness and the height that you're able to obtain. Two more breaths like this. Good, and keeping the spine really long and keeping the feet just where they are. Let your hands come off to the side, let them drop down, palms out. So this is our seated mountain pose, right? We're gonna do standing mountain, but this is seated mountain, everything in alignment, okay? As you feel your hands pulling down, maybe open up those fingers a little bit more, see if you can receive a little more energy that way. You receive the energy and you're also giving your body more energy too. The farther you pull your fingers out, the more you're going to feel that in the contraction of muscle bone in your arms. That energy radiating down. So here we sit in mountain. And then as we lift our arms up into a rising mountain, our arms come up, fingers lift, raising your arms up, hands lift up as well, letting your fingers reach towards the sky. Calling this our rising mountain pose, or we can also associate this with a upright salute, upward salute pose here. Really lengthen the side body here as you settle into your hips more. Opening up through the side body, press through your feet as if you're standing on them. Lift with an inhale. Exhale, go ahead and take those hands on back down into mountain pose. Now let's take that instead of statically, dynamically. Inhale, upward salute or rising mountain. Exhale back into mountain. 2 more, your breath. Which means your rate, your rhythm, your speed. And we're trying to slow ourselves down from the fast-paced world that we've been living in. Good, and then rise back up with an in-breath. Holding on to one wrist, press away. Take yourself over into Ardha Chandrasana here, half moon pose. Pressing away palms in the direction that you're leaning towards. Really lengthening one side as you squeeze into the other. Reach on back up, inhale. And take yourself over to the other side, stretching out these intercostal muscles between our ribs that help us to breathe stronger, bigger, longer breaths. Help us to use more of our lung capacity. Rise on up, inhale. Release, exhale back into mountain pose. Rising up with your in-breath. Take a hold of the opposite wrist. Press away. Come on over to one side. Press away. But press down with your feet and with your sits bones. Rise on up, inhale. Back towards the top of the ceiling there. And then let yourself come on over again, opposite side. Lifting on up, inhale. Release, exhale, slowly, ever so slowly, taking those hands on down. Sit and breathe in mountain for a couple breaths here. Already needing to take off my sweater that I started with. And then let's go ahead, lean our bodies forward, take our hands forward. Weight comes into your feet. Bring your arms forward, lift out of your chair and stand into mountain. This is where you guys can decide if you want to just repeat everything we did seated, or if you want to take it standing, or you want to take half in one place or half in the other, okay? So let's just stand and breathe, or sit and breathe in mountain pose. And again, are we all lined up? Let's take a look down at our feet. Let's take a look on up through our bodies. And the one thing here we can acknowledge maybe that we don't when we're seated is, can we tuck the tailbone down a little bit more towards the ground? And can we let this pubic bone come forward a little bit more? It's really slight. Okay, I showed this the other day. It's real slight, but do you see that little bit of movement there? Okay, so we can attend to that too. I know that's a lot, but that's like the piece de resistance, okay, of a mountain pose or standing pose. If we can just tuck that tailbone a bit, and the pubic bone then comes forward just a bit more, right? So we're standing here in mountain. And then let's go ahead and lift our arms up, inhale. And take a hold of a wrist, push away. Come on over into your half moon, Ardha Chandrasana here. Breathe. Taking that up with an in-breath. Pushing away. and rooting down with your feet. Okay, at the same time, let yourself come over. This is really good for opening up into the lymphatic system there. All of that that's caught and bound in our armpit area. Bring yourself up, inhale. And then exhale, take your hands on down. As you do, let's just do a slight bend in the knees so we're making sure we're never locking into those knees. Okay, we want to keep a soft knee. And then go ahead, extend through your legs. But again, a little soft bend. Rise up, take a hold of that opposite wrist. Lengthen up. And again, maybe you're seated and you've chosen to do that, and that is all well and good. Kind of stacking those shoulders if possible, really pressing away. Hip comes outward as your arms go in the opposite way. Lengthen in, exhale, release. Bring yourself up on an in-breath and take yourself over, exhale. Push away. Let yourself come down, maybe a little bit more. Bring yourself up, inhale. Exhale, float those arms on down. Ever so slowly, bend into your knees. Again, hands come forward, palms forward. Now let's take that little flow we did, seated, inhale, lengthening, and you can lengthen into your legs. Exhale, taking it back down, maybe into a little bend, or you can stay in your mountain pose. Okay. Meaning bending into the knees or not. Okay. This just adds a little bit more. If you inhale up and you exhale, bend a little into the knees, it just adds a little bit of coordination and making sure we're not locking into those knees at all. Okay. You guys choose what you're going to do, but know why you're doing it. Okay. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it on back down. All right. And then let's go ahead and take our hands forward, coming into chair pose. Take your hands back, hold onto that chair, make sure it's there, and seat yourself back down. Okay. So we did mountain, we did upward salute, and we did Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, seated and standing. Okay, and now let's go ahead and do some chair poses and some goddess poses. So lift those arms up, press down through your feet like you're going to stand up, but not quite. Press down, press down, press down, and then come into open up here. Into goddess arms, and then lift up, inhale. So chair, and then goddess arms. Not a complete goddess yet, we'll get there. Inhale here, push down through feet, which lengthens us up, and exhale. Opening up your hands like scarecrow hands. That's going to ignite a little more into your musculature. Okay. 2 more. Press down with feet. Chair pose. Hold down. Cactus arms. 1 more time. Press almost like you're trying to get yourself out of that seat. Pressing in with your feet. Pulling down. Inhale. And exhale. Let those hands come down all the way and sit and breathe in mountain pose, maintaining that nice straight spine, which utilizes core strength to keep us out here instead of here, right? Be nice and tall here in our spine. And now let's take externally rotating those hips by taking and opening up our knees, taking our heels in, toes out. Good. And from here, let's just go back and forth, feeling that in this core area, in your obliques, in your waistline. And good. Okay, so here we are, sitting up straight and tall. Let's take it into full goddess now. Press into your feet, though, if you really want to energize, okay, into the lower part of your body when you're seated in a chair. Press into your feet. Arms lift. Inhale. Exhale. Pull down. Inhale. Your own breath and your own pace, you guys, okay? Press to your feet if you want that action to radiate up. I'm doing that and my legs are almost shaking. Inhale. This time, exhale and hold it into cactus arms, goddess arms. Take one arm down, leave one up. Make muscles in your bicep in the one and tricep in the other. And then take the other hand up and the opposite one down. Press into feet. Make a muscle, bicep and tricep. Open up those fingers. Hand lifts, arms lift. Ooh, exhale. Take it on down. Walk it back into mountain pose here, seated mountain. Take a breath. My heart's beating a little faster here just because I'm really pressing my feet into the ground. All right. So if you guys are too, maybe you're feeling that. And if not, you're getting still, that movement, that action, that lengthening and strengthening. All right, we're going to take it forward. Arms reach. Take weight into your feet. This is only for those that want to take it to your feet. Lift on up. Come on up. Upward salute. Or stay in your chair with upward salute. Arms come down. Let's take a couple breaths here in mountain pose before we go into the rest of what we just did, seated. And again, repeat seated or partially, whatever feels right for you, okay? Go ahead and lift up your arms. Inhale. Upward salute. And then we're not going to bend our knees. We're just going to pull our arms into that cactus, okay? Then lift up, inhale. Now we're going to bend our knees, keep our arms straight, and come into chair pose. Your arms can stay up. This is easier, though. If you want to go into walking, sleepwalking, do that, right? And then lift back up, inhale. You can also take your arms into airplane. That's easier than keeping the biceps by your ears, okay? When we're here, our weight is in our heels. You're lifting off from your toes. Lift on up, inhale. Repeat any of those versions, okay? Arms lifted. Exhale down, inhale up. Or arms forward. Inhale, rest. Or arms out. Rising up. One more active chair pose. Bring ourselves up. Good, now let's go ahead. Come into cactus, bend into feet. I'm not bend into knees. You can bend into your feet, I guess, a little bit. Rise up, inhale. Bend into knees, bend into elbows. Haven't quite opened up to a full goddess yet. Lift up, inhale. Two more, bend into knees, bend into those elbows. As we bend into those elbows, we squeeze those shoulder blades back and together. Make those muscles. Good, inhale. Exhale, let's take the hands down. Let's review our mountain. Don't know about you, but my breath is increasing in its rapidness. Find yourself standing in mountain pose. So this is mountain. Generally, I consider mountain with the feet under the hips. Some people take mountain with the feet together. If you do that, please note there is a more challenge to the balance when you do that, because we weren't meant to have our feet like this. Our bodies were built anatomically for balance to come straight down out of our hips, okay? So notice that when we're talking about balance and such. All right, let's go ahead and open up our legs. Take those toes out. And again, you can do this seated if that's your preference, okay? And we're gonna bend into those knees. Hold on here, and let's just take our torso right and left. As you do that, feel it right in here. You don't have to do crunches and sit-ups to strengthen this part of our body. You can just do these kind of little sexy moves like this, all right? Come back to center. Try to straighten your spine as much as possible. Arms lift, legs lengthen. Let's pull it into full goddess, seated or standing. Exhale. Good. Rise up, inhale. And if you stay seated, that's beautiful. Press with your feet into the ground if you want to send that energy up, okay? Otherwise, you're really doing a good job here with opening up into the lower part now of our lymphatic system with our hips in this externally rotated way. We're moving that lymphatic fluid. That's the only way it moves, through our movement. Let's do 2 more. Good. Rise on up. Exhale, hands down. Heel toe those feet in, or just walk them in back into standing mountain pose or seated mountain pose. Take 2 breaths. And then let's go ahead and sit ourselves back down if you stood up. And let's do a couple more seated, and then we'll do a couple more standing. Take your hands, stretch them to your knees as you have the rest of your body in a good mountain pose. And we're going to come in and out of cow and cat, okay? So hold on to those knees, bend into your elbows, let them come back towards your hips. Your chest pulls forward and you look up with an in-breath. And then you extend your arms long. Maybe they bypass your knees and you curl and you tuck and you round into that spine. Pull your elbows down and your shoulders down away from your ears. And then lift up to your knees. Hold on there for leverage. Open up, heart forward. Flow with that, you guys, okay? Your breath. Your depth. Your cow. And your cat. Your heart releasing out to the world. Your heart coming back into you for your self-love. That's what today's meditation was all about. Finding our love within ourselves to bring us out of places that we are stuck. Yoga and the movements that it allows us to do symbolically also helps us to take us out of stuck places, out of stagnation, and into a dynamic sense of self. One more round, please. Good. And then sitting in mountain pose. Taking a couple breaths. Let's open up our spine into a twist, all right? So in the chair, what we'll do is we'll take one hand and cross it over to the opposite knee. The other hand comes behind us, it presses down to lift us up. Or maybe you take it to the very back of your chair, depending again on your chair's anatomy and your flexibility in shoulder, okay? So you don't wanna overdo here, but lengthen spine, then take your twist. You don't wanna come in and out of a twist quickly. You don't wanna come in and out of a twist with a scrunched spine. You want it to have length. Length builds strength. Length builds height. Slowly releasing. And that height will help us to not lose inches when we go get our height checked. I was really happy the other day when I went, go ahead and switch. And I was the same height, 5'5.5". Yes, press down, lengthen, and go ahead and take yourself over to the back. But it's gravity, it's lack of movement or flexibility in the spine that starts to bring those vertebrae closer together, starts to make us more rigid and shorter. Go ahead and take yourself back and around. Good. Take 2 more breaths here. Now seated, let's go ahead and do just eagle arms, all right? And we're gonna do that standing as well. Those that wish will rise on up here, really lengthen. And then exhale, take your right arm under your left, coming into hugging yourself here. That may be your eagle arms, or you release into forearms together, maybe palms together. Lift up, inhale. Exhale, bow down. Elbows to your navel. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bow down towards your navel. This time, inhale, come to the balls of your feet, lift your heels. Josephine's exercise for the plane. Exhale, heels down, toes lift, elbows to your navel. And keep that kind of coordinated effort going. 2 more sets. This sends blood to our ankles and our calves, to our shins, to our knees, taking ourselves up to center. Go ahead and release. That was my right arm under my left. Check and see what yours was, okay? Because we're gonna do the opposite next. Release those arms, rise up. And now I'm taking my left under my right. Bring them on up, inhale. Exhale, pull those elbows to my navel, squeezing down, chin to chest, shoulders pulling away from my ears. Lift up, inhale. One more time, and then we'll begin to rock on our feet. Inhale to the balls of your feet, lift up, look. Exhale to your heels, curl, tuck, round. Rise up, balls of the feet, lifting, looking. Exhale, curl and tuck and round, pulling into self. One more set. Feet come flat, arms come to center, release, really good. Let's just fly here. That's really good for all the joints in our upper body for these cooler temps. And the wind that is blowing finds its way into our joints. It knows where those openings are. Mark makes fun of me because I always wear a scarf because I say you got to protect that front part of your neck and the back part so you don't catch colds. I don't catch colds and I wear scarves, but who knows if that's why. Up, exhale, down. Now it's because we all wear masks, right? And now we're going to do that same series, seated or standing. Okay, it's going to be a little different standing, right? Because we won't have, well, it'll just be a little different and you'll see how. You can stay seated. Let's go ahead and let our arms come forward. Let the body come forward. Take weight into your feet. Go ahead and lift. Rise up to upward salute, a rising mountain. Exhale it down. And then just take a look. Do I have the width that's about hips distance? Am I all situated here for my standing poses? And I've checked and I feel good. Let's go ahead and just, if you're seated, just come up and down onto the balls of your feet. If you're standing, we're going to do that. If 2 at a time is a lot, just do 1 at a time, okay? See where your balance is today. And again, energizing into our ankles, into our toes, to all the bones that are carrying us through life in our feet. Good, and then come on back and then shake out those knees just a little bit. As we shake the knees, shake the hips. As we shake the hips, shake the chest. As we shake the chest, shake the shoulders. I'm looking at Mark, he's so cute. Shake those, he's even cute with shingles. Shake those shoulders. All right, let's come back into standing mountain. Now, we are, if you're seated, that's great. We're gonna repeat our cat-cow. You're standing, bend into your knees, hands come to your knees, okay? Now I've got kind of a straight spine to begin with. This is my neutral here, right? Then I'm gonna come and press into my thighs or my knees, and I'm going to let my tailbone come up. Find my cow here. And then curling into myself, I may slide my hands down past my knees or just grab a hold of my knees to help me come into that cat position. And then press down, inhale, lift. And curl, tuck, round. Those of you that are choosing to do these standing, your balance will be working as well. You might think, well, I don't know why this would be balancing because I'm standing on my own 2 feet. True, but because of the contortion that our body is in, we are transferring weight in different ways. So that affects our balance. Let's do 1 more set here. Good, come into that neutral spine and lift yourself back up into mountain pose, okay? And just regroup, make sure you're really good with where you are in your mountain, seated or standing. And let's do some twists here. I'm gonna bend into the knees, arms come out to the side. One hand comes forward, the other comes back. I look over that back shoulder. If you're seated, you're going to take your hand to your opposite knee, hand behind you, keeping those long spines still, right? And then bring yourself back. Arms are out from your shoulders, or if you're seated in the chair, you're doing exactly what we did before. Here you're feeling it, probably in your waist. Push through those fingers if you're doing the standing version. Take yourself back. 1 more time to take yourself around, pressing through, fingers, stretching, lengthening, back to center. 1 more time this side, Back into center. Hands down as you lengthen those legs, laying yourself into seated mountain or standing mountain pose. Let's just do a couple of shoulder rolls back. Okay. Oh, and a couple forward. Good. One up, one down. Nice. And then just a little bit of shaking out. Knees, hands, as we're getting ready now for our eagle arms only. Don't worry, I'm not going to take you into standing eagle on one foot. Okay, we're going to stay in our mountain legs, but we're going to eagle arm it. Okay, when we come up, let's bend into the knees a little bit, just so that you can feel that you're not, again, locking into those knees. Arms lengthen. Staying seated is great here too. Bend into the knees if you're standing. Take right arm under left, coming to here, coming to here. Straighten those legs or keep into a small bend if you want. Lengthen up, inhale. Exhale, I'm going to bend my knees a little bit as I curl, tuck, round my elbows to my navel. And I'm going to lengthen my legs as I lift up, inhale. And exhale. Curl and tuck, rounding. Inhale, rising. One more time, let's do that. Curl and tuck and round into self. And rise back up. Release those arms, exhale. Rise on up. And now left under right, or the opposite arm makes that X. Makes your hug. Maybe makes your eagle wrap or double wrap. Lift, inhale. Elbows lift. Exhale, bend into knees and curl your elbows to your navel. Oh, come on up. Lifting. Exhale down. Bringing ourselves up. Taking ourselves down. Rise up, straight legs, centered, releasing arms. Let's fly. Touching our wrists, expressing and pushing away here. Rise up, wrist lift. Push away. Let's do 2 more of those just because it feels good. With breath. Remember, yoga becomes yoga when we match our breath with our movement. Walk it out just a little bit here. And then let's go ahead and let our arms come forward. Sit down low, find that chair, bring it back, and have a seat down. Good. All right. Let's see. Now we're going to come to our peak pose. And that peak pose is going to be warrior 2. Okay. So we're going to do that seated and repeat it seated, or we'll do it standing. All right. So let's go ahead and take one leg to the side here. Right. And I'm looking for my alignment as I would if I were doing this standing. My foot is directly pointing forward as I look in that direction. Ankle, knee, hip lined up. All right. This leg here can stay just like it is. This is the easiest way to stay right here. You can also, if you like, take that leg down and back and flatten it out. Okay. Don't have to do that. That's only if you'd like. And make sure it comes out so that you're not torquing into your knee at all. Okay. All right. And then from here, go ahead and express your arms outward from your shoulders. You're looking towards me. I'm looking towards you. I'm going to pull myself in one direction forward. I'm going to come back to center. Take myself back this way. Come back to center. And then here, you can take your forearm on your thigh and the other arm lifts up. If this is impinging on your shoulder, then hand to shoulder or hand to your hip, okay? And then also, those of you that would like could leave your arm from here and slide it down, all right? See where your body is opening up itself to open up your fingers nice and wide here. And we've moved from warrior two into this extended side angle. Then we're bringing our bodies up back into warrior two. We're pulling ourselves into the past, letting a hand drop down to that back leg or to the chair. Other arm lifts, and we come into reverse Virabhajasana two, reverse warrior two. Breathing here, breathing through challenges in our life, breathing through challenges in our practice, coming back slowly back out of that. Take your arms out, take your arms down, bring this leg in and seat yourself in mount. Let's take 2 breaths here as a transition. Let's take 2 sets of cat and cow as a transition. Fit cat and cow in as many times as you can in a day. Seated, standing, kneeling, on the toilet, wherever you are, try to bring it in, and that's going to help keep that spine nice and long, okay? Let's go on the other side now. So I'm going to take my leg over, lining everything up so that I've got good alignment here. This leg can stay just nice and open here, or I can take the knee down, let it hang, or I can take the foot out, toes towards you, okay? And again, we'll do this standing in just a moment. Arms reach out. We're gazing towards one another, or you can take a look over that front arm. And that's really where the warrior two is that looking in that forward manner. Let our shoulders and our arms open up outward. Okay, from here, let's go forward. Center, back, center. One more time forward. My chair is creaky cracking, and back. Oh, this chair is 65 years old. It's as old as I am. And then let's take ourselves forward again. Bend. And I'm not quite 65 yet, but it's coming around the corner. Go ahead and take your forearm onto your thigh. Other arm lifts, where you take it to your shoulder or to your hip. Really lengthen here. And if you want, you can even take your arm this far over, bicep by your ear. And this one only comes down if you really feel like that's in your practice, okay? It isn't necessary. You're getting everything that you need where you're at. Please be good to yourselves. Breathe, please. I know this is a challenging pose, standing or seated. And then bring yourself back slowly. Never want to jerk out of something. Take yourself back, looking over that front arm, or taking a look forward, sideways, I guess. And then let's pull back, back, back. Hand comes down that back leg, or down the chair, or on the chair. Other hand rises, opening up through your chin, taking a nice little stretch in the back of your neck there. Squeeze in the back of the neck and an opening in the throat area. And again, not over compressing, just lifting to the place that's right for you, your body, okay? Come on back. Take your strength. Warrior two. Big inhale. Exhale, let your hands come down. Bring that leg in if it was extended. Bring your legs around. And let's just come up and down on the balls of our feet a bit. Opening up the front part of that ankle. Before we go into standing with that, just take your feet apart, take your knees together, and let's come to the inside part of your feet. Here's a tip for you that are drivers, something that I've been doing lately. You know, when you're driving, right, you gotta have this foot for your gas. This leg usually just hangs out and open. I've been working on trying to keep it in to get some internal rotation there. And then when I'm in cruise, I try to do both. But that's just what I've been doing, because I realize we're always having that external rotation and we need more of this internal rotation. So when you can, try to find that in your life. All right, lean forward, arms forward. Someone's pulling you out of that chair. If that's what you desire, come on up. Inhale. Stand in mountain or seated in mountain. Let's take it through our 5-pointed star. Remember, and a 5-pointed star. I just don't want to do that again. But those of you that caught that 12 Days of Christmas, right? So 5-pointed star here, or you can lift up a little bit higher. Okay, but let's actually take it here for us, out of our shoulders. Let's take one leg over, feet over, sorry. And that kind of changes the hip a little bit. This foot stays where it is. If you're seated, you're going to repeat what we just did. Go ahead and bend into your front knee so that knee and that ankle are in alignment. Now, this is a transition. You can do this, and then you could take that chair and sit on it, okay? Or you can keep the chair away. So either way, you guys decide what you might want to do here. Pull forward. Come back. One more time each side. You should be feeling that waistline whittling away here, right? And here we are. Let's bend. Let's extend up and maybe over. Seated or standing, we won't hold it quite as long. And again, some of you may be reaching down here into this extended side angle, keeping your arm here, keeping it here. We have a lot of support when we keep our forearm on our thigh. And then bring yourself up, because this is a challenging pose no matter what. That's why I'm calling it the peak pose today. Let's take ourselves back. This hand comes down, but we don't press into the outside of our knee. Don't want to press it. It's not meant to go that way. You're going to hit here, here, or wrap around. Take that other arm up, straight to the ceiling, or again, offering heart and letting the arm come behind you just a bit more. Breathing. And bring yourself up. Finding your strong warrior two. Straighten that leg, all toes forward. And before we go to the other side, just take your hands here on your hips and let's take the toes out just a bit. Bend into your knees and let's maybe hands come down or stay on your hips. And let's take some circles with our hips. And let's go on around the opposite way. Good, getting ready for our dance class. It's going to be starting in January, Thursday nights. It's going to be in person, I believe. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to Zoom that one yet. We may. But Viola's going to teach it, and she's taught Zumba in the past. We're not calling it Zumba because she's not certified anymore in Zumba, but it's just called Just Dance. So we're going to just dance on Thursday nights at 5:30. Go ahead and turn the other toes out, toes forward, bend into that knee, or you're seated in your chair, or you're pulling that chair under you and finding more depth maybe than you did before. So decide where your peak pose is going to take you. Find a couple breaths. Look at that front knee. Make sure knee and ankle are hovering together, okay, in one line, upward, not forward at an angle. And let's move our body though forward. Take it back. And forward. And back. So this is a lot easier than it was earlier. I know I'm really a lot more loose here than I was when we first started. Bring yourself forward, bend here. Keep your forearm right there on your thigh. Other arm lifts feel yourself pressing into, if you're in this position or seated with a leg extended, pressing into the outside part of your back foot. But still staying even as much as you can from one foot to the other. And again, this arm, those that want can extend it, not necessary. Extended side angle. Bring yourself back up. Pulling back, and releasing. And maybe arm comes behind you, or just let it hang without pressing any energy into that outside part of your knee. Bring yourself up. Face forward in the strength of your warrior two. This peak pose for today. Straighten your leg, feet come back, hands to hips, walk them in. That's a little bit of a challenge just to do that, a little walking those feet in. Let's go ahead and just stand or be seated and walk it out a bit. And then let's go ahead and take a seat. Finding mountain pose. Coming back into breath and heart rate that is in balance with one another. Let's say thank you to each part of our spine and the way it moves. Inhale, lift. Both arms rise. Exhale, one hand down to a chair leg. Come on over, exhale. Rise up, inhale. Exhale, one hand down, the other over. Bring it on up. Cactus, heartless. And now bring those cactus arms, forearms together. Pull elbows to navel, curling in. Bring yourself up. Extend, open heart, inhale. A little different form of cow and cat. And then bring yourself in. One more set, lifting elbows up, spreading them open. And taking yourself back. Open and relax down. Hands on thighs. One small twist to one side. Back to center. One small twist to the other side. Back to center. Arms lift, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bow down to that true teacher. That's you. That's the person that you listen to today, more than you listen to me. That's the way it was supposed to be, right? You guys, your body listening to